late night Monday night. We're grateful to see everybody, and as we always do on Mondays, we try to get him on the first of the week, and because we don't, he's so famous, we're afraid if we don't get him on Monday, we may not get him at all. You know, he's so in such a demand. But James Akers on the phone with us tonight, man. It's good to see you. How are you on this late night Monday?
I am doing fine. We're hoping to get a little bit of a warm weather break here toward the end of the week, and boy, we need it.
Yeah, we've got ours. We actually have ours tonight. We're going to be in the set. We'll be at 70 tomorrow, and that's the first time that's happened in probably 3 months. And so yeah, it's good to know that we've got that going on, and I'm hoping it'll warm up north. Got to get baseball season here, man. Football season's over, and basketball season's in vogue. But I'm ready for baseball myself. How about you?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Good deal, man. Hey, listen, a lot of things going on tonight. Yeah, as I said, we like to get you on at least once a week to get your thoughts on things, and just want to run a few things by you. I don't know if you've been following the Savannah Guthrie thing. That seems to be a thing that's got people's captured the nation's attention. The Olympics, of course. I'm going to ask you about that as well tonight and some other things. But what is your thoughts on this Guthrie thing? It just seems to be a very it was weird from the beginning, you know, that her mother goes missing, and then all of a sudden things start popping up the last couple of days, and there's more questions than answers, it seems. And you know, I think the deadline for the ransom was either today or tomorrow, and I'm not a detective. I had Eric Karen, one of our federal agents that is going to be with us tomorrow night. He's very concerned that all this hoopla is going to turn out to be that if they even do find the kidnapper, they've tainted the case. You know, all the media stuff that's going on out there. But I'm just curious where James Akers sits on this, because there's just something missing here, and I don't know if we're just not looking at the bigger picture, or is it just a cut and dry case of kidnapping?
Well, you know, my wife has been just fascinated with this story, and it's just a tragedy for anybody that has a parent, or you know, the prospects of even a child being kidnapped, and you can't even talk to the people that are kidnapping. It's just a tragic story, and I think. The longer lasting story outside the human tragedy of it is the failure of those local authorities to cooperate with federal authorities. I think they just sort of shut them out of the case.
Yes.
For a long period of time. Evidence has been tainted, and there are going to be some serious questions raised about how the local law authorities handled this thing. And I think that's one of the things that has caught my attention, in addition to just the outright human tragedy of it. You know, you have the two sisters and the brother having to beg for their mother's life, and she has heart issues, and nobody's proved. Presented even one shred of evidence that this poor woman is still alive. It is just a tragic story from every angle.
Do you think there's anything else going on other than just a kidnapping, though? I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying there is. There's a lot of questions, and I don't know if you've seen the creepy video that's out there now. And I think Savannah Guthrie. And again, this is a tough time for the family, and I'm not trying to throw and pile on during a tough time. But, you know, she was very tough on Trump during that interview or in that debate last year. Some pointed questions. He sort of gave her a lifeline last night at the Super Bowl on NBC because he was asked about her, and he had nothing but glowing remarks. But she took some shots at him pretty good and in the debate. But she puts this video out basically asking for her mother to be released, and James is almost verbatim out of a movie, Silence of the Lambs, that most people remember from the '90s. It was what put Jodie Foster on the really the platform of Hollywood. Her breakout movie, where the mother of another kidnapped victim in the movie almost she repeated her words verbatim. And again, it may be nothing, but it has people wondering what is going on here, because it's just creepy, man. And all those things you just said play into this. Everything you just said plays into this, because everybody that's fascinated with it, they it's just like, we don't know where this woman is. There's been no evidence that she's even alive, and I think that all that just adds to the mystery of it.
Yeah, I just view it as a terrible human tragedy. I think Trump has played this one. Showed the appropriate amount of sympathy for a lady who obviously doesn't believe and is not sympathetic to his politics. But Trump's made some missteps here in the last couple weeks, but this is not one of them. I think he has played this just right, has provided federal support. The problem is they just
I know where she's at.
The locals have shut them out, and there's you see it on movies all the time, but there is this animosity between local police, and they're sort of resentful when the federal police come in, the FBI or whatever, and sort of take over everything.
Yeah.
There's that tension, but in this case, it's such a high-profile case that's. It seems like the local law enforcement authorities would have done well to cooperate to the nth degree with the federal police. But human nature is what it is. And as to your sort of, is there something else going on? The whole thing has been sort of, it's just a tragedy, and it just seems like it's just one twist after another.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. And again, I don't want to become a conspiracy people or theory on this stuff, because it is a human element to this. If it was my mother, and I guess that's the price of being in the public eye like she is, the whole world gets to chime in on what's going on. I look at the same thing with Erica Kirk. I think Erica Kirk has been treated absolutely horrific by certain voices in the social media realm, and I could get into that tonight. But unfortunately, it's a price you pay when you're out there in the public eye. People think they can control you and say things about you and dictate to you your life, and there's never going to be a right or wrong in many people's eyes how Guthrie handled it, no more than people thought that Erica Kirk handled her husband's assassination. And it's sad, James, that we're in that place, but that's just the way life is right now, and people are, and that's why I hate social media. I'm just going to be honest with you. This would be just a regular case if it wasn't the fact that Susanna Guthrie's on NBC.
Yeah, and I think the last time that I was on your program, we were talking about how in this country there's just a total lack of decorum. I mean, in Erica Kirk's situation, there should be nothing but sympathy for that woman and what happened to her. She shouldn't be a political pawn, and people. So the bad thing about social media is that you take the personal face-to-face element out of it, and you can say the most heinous things from a distance and not feel guilty about it. And it all speaks to this breakdown of decency in our country. I just and it's just appalling to see.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. I'm totally with you, and it's really sad that we've reached that place, but we have, and I mean that is the price of being in the public eye. And I'm with you totally on Erica Kirk too. And there's been nothing but absolutely everything but sympathy for her. And some of this stuff, I just there's sometimes I just want to reach through the screen and the person typing it want to just cut their. I do. I mean, I just want to shake a knot in them and say, would you grow up? And do you understand what you're saying? If this was you, if this was your husband, if this was your mother, would you want this kind of scrutiny? And they wouldn't. And what I'm just going to meddle just for a little bit. The same people that do this stuff, if you did it to them, they would be running and scalding like a scalded cat, screaming up and down how they're being persecuted. And see, some of the social media people do that too, that do this to Erica. When they get called out for it, all of a sudden they're persecuted and everybody's against them and it's conspiracy and all this stuff. It's nothing but hypocrisy. Nothing but rank hypocrisy. And it's what makes people sick with social media personalities. And to be frank with you, I'm sick of it too. But anyway, we'll follow that story and we'll see where it leads. And, we pray that everything winds up on a good place. But I was asked the question, do I think the mother's alive, James? I don't. I mean, I just personally, I don't hope for that. But I tell you, you kidnap somebody and they're gone this long. I mean, you just pray that they're still somewhere out there, and I guess we'll find out soon enough what's going to happen. Other thing I want to ask you about, I know you don't follow Bad Bunny because James Akers and Chris have the same taste in music. We're country guys, we're country boys. So when we say Bad Bunny, we not sure what that means, but that was the individual that performed at the Super Bowl last night and did not say one word in English. And he's trans, and the NFL pretty much stuck their middle finger up to America last night. What's your thoughts on all that, what they did with this halftime?
I didn't watch a second of it.
I didn't either.
And I do not regret that decision at all. I did turn it over to another channel had Kid Rock and Charlie Kirk's organization, and I did watch a little bit of that until the ball game started up. And number one, it was a boring football game. Just one team steamrolled the other, and so it wasn't even all that interesting a game to watch. And by the time you throw in all of this political correct stuff, be it two national anthems or Bad Bunny, or I just think that the majority of Americans are just saying enough of this stuff. Enough.
What is the NFL? The not for long. I got the title in the show tonight. The not for long league. They're going to keep doing this stuff, James. Trump made the statement here a few years ago, you go woke, you go broke. And the NFL is going to keep doing this stuff, and they're going to tick enough people off. They're not going to have a league no more. I'm telling you, because these sponsors, people are going to turn them off, and they just don't care. They just don't care. And, me and your sports fans, and, baseball this has seeped into baseball a little bit, but not as bad as football, and especially not as bad as basketball. Because some of these coaches in basketball run their mouth like they're some political expert. And I just wish they'd just shut up, put a basketball down on the court, put your chalkboard down, tell your players how to play, keep your mouth shut, because we don't care about your politics. We just want you to see you shoot. We just want to see you hit a baseball. We just want to see you catch a football. I don't give two-bit pins what you care about politically, And the NFL, to me, that was a political slap in the face to the country last night. And yes, I heard, and I didn't watch any of it. I'm like you. I sort of peeked in one time to just check the score and turn it right back off because I didn't even want to do that. But I was out of morbid curiosity. I was just curious how bad it was in the score. But, I think these sporting events, we've talked about this too, about college football. James, the whole woke money grabbing, let's do things a different way has destroyed sports from college. And you know what's scary to me? It's going to get in these high schools eventually. You know, you've got college recruiters sitting on the doorsteps of freshmen and sophomores in high school now, and we're not going to have a pure sport event before long. Nothing will be pure. Nothing. It's already there to me.
No, even the game we both love, baseball.
Baseball, yeah.
It's got to the point where a father can't take his kids to the ball game without mortgaging his house, to buy tickets to the game, pay for parking, and get something to eat and drink for the kids. They keep talking about how they want to see kids and the younger generation come out to the ballpark. Well, the dads can't bring the sons out to watch the games anymore. He can't afford to do it.
Yeah, I'm with you, and you know, and again, this woke stuff and LGBTQ night and Pride night, it's ruined the game. And look, I love my Braves, but we participate in that. I don't. The only team that I know that did not participate in that event over the last 2 years has been the Texas Rangers. And when Bruce Bochy was manager, he would not. He basically told the owner, he said, "I don't want us doing it," and they didn't. And but that's the only team in Major League Baseball that does not have a Pride Night now. And I don't want my kid at Pride Night. And it's not homophobic. It's not anything. I just don't want my kids to see two women kissing women. I don't want my grandkids seeing it. I don't want my grown boys seeing it. And even though they're adults, you know? I mean, it's pathetic, James, and I'm with you. And Elaine Willard's already putting it out there, and I think she's right. I mean, the prices have gotten so high, and you know, when you pay for something, we pay for a product, and that's sports. We're not paying for a political commentary, correct?
That's right, and even the theme park venues. I mean, Disney, for the first time in my memory, is begging for people to come to the theme park, and one of the reasons is that they have so many Pride days and gay days and this, that, and the other, that parents who are held hostage to buy a ticket to get into the theme park in the first place don't want their kids seeing all this stuff. Don't want it being flouted right in their faces.
Yeah.
So that's a culture we live in, and I guess I'm just a dinosaur. But
I'm a dinosaur with you. You know, when I first heard that Bad Bunny was performing, I thought it was an Easter show. So I mean, I'm just saying, I didn't know. I never heard of Bad Bunny, and then I saw somebody post a meme, and I was like, "Holy smokes, man! We Southerners, that's a little over our head, and we're just a bunch of rednecks down here. We don't identify with Bad Bunny." And but we identify with Kid Rock, and I have to say I give TPUSA a lot of credit. And by the way, this goes to show you to my point. Americans basically 65 to 35. They did a poll. Pretty much 15, 20 million people watched Kid Rock. Maybe more than that, but it was less than that, way less than that. To watch a halftime football thing. But James, it's this situation's going to keep going. As I said, it's going to be, we're not going to have sports anymore. And I thought I saw a comment about the betting, and I don't want to get into that tonight, but I will tell you this: it's disheartening to me that our pastimes have been taken over by this crap. What was you mentioned a while ago about Trump having the missteps. We had you on last week, and I know that this thing in Minnesota has sort of blowed over a little bit, but do you believe that he is going to come out on top of this argument with ICE? And because it seems like he got a victory tonight in California, there was a California court that refused to make them unmask, and I think that could be a blueprint that that they should follow in the courts. That this rapid push on the left to get the mask off of ice perhaps may not be so quick coming as we think. I know this has been a PR nightmare, but I still stand in my guns, man. You can't blame ICE for these two people acting the way they acted, and they put themselves in a bad place, and bad things happen when you interact with law enforcement like that. I don't care whether it's ICE, the local police, sheriff, deputies, FBI, anybody. You act like these people are acting, James, somebody's going to get hurt, and somebody has.
Yeah, it reminds me of a Lou Holtz football coach many years ago before a bowl game. Two of his ball players got into a fight in a bar at 3:00 in the morning, the day before the game. So the newspaper comes to him and says, says they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And Lou Holtz says, if you're in a bar at 3:00 in the morning before the night of the game, that's always the wrong place at the wrong time. And a lot of these people that the media tries to bail out, they have this excuse for them or that excuse for them, is because these people did not use a modicum of common sense whatsoever. That's my view.
Yeah, you're talking about the people that got hurt, Renee Good and Alex Peretti, right?
That's my view of it. I hate it anytime anybody gets hurt or whatever. That all that goes without saying. We're human beings and we sympathize with other human beings. But there are some times when people just use no common sense whatsoever, and they should bear the consequences of acting with no common sense.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question tonight. I'm going to let you go after this. I know it's late. The ID voter law, the SAVE Act, and we barely missed a shutdown. The government last week, they think they finally got the other agencies, but we're going to have another showdown here coming up this weekend and the next weekend. The Democrats are digging in, and they're saying if the SAVE Act is brought to the floor, they're going to shut the government down because they consider that racist. And that's been the talking point this weekend on all the talk shows, that demanding a voter ID is racist. James, every single country in the world requires you to bring an ID to vote. Unless you're North Korea, China, or Iran, and they just put a gun to your head and say, vote for the Ayatollah, vote for Kim Jong-un, but of course, that don't matter to the Dems. But every civilized nation requires you to show an ID, except one, the United States of America. And I think that these Republicans had better stand firm on this. They're going to lose their base if they don't. I mean this tonight. They better stand firm. I think the American people, look, when 71% of Democrats, even the CNN poll says that 71% of Democrats favor a ID at the polls, 89% of the Republicans. I mean, man, you can't get 10 Democrats and 10 Republicans to agree the sky's blue. But on this, they seem to be united. But why is this 1/3, this tenth of the Democrat Party, this radical left, screaming as loud as they are and holding as much power as they do over that party? It's going to be the death of the party, is it not?
Yeah, well, I mean, pretty soon you're going to have to search from one shore to another to find a moderate Democrat. You know what I'm saying? They are yielding the field to the far left and the far left agenda, and it doesn't matter whether it doesn't make any sense or not. They're just giving over the party to these to the left wing fringe and all of these issues. And I do not think it's going to play well with mainstream America. I'm right with you. You have to have an ID to drive a car and prove a number of other things. And in my mind, everybody walks into that voting booth, I want them to show an ID.
Oh, I do too. James,
absolutely.
James, let me add something else to the hypocrisy. John Ossoff, who's from my home state of Georgia, he had an event over the weekend. Do you know what he required people to present before they came in? He required them present their ID to get into a political event. You know what he did the whole political event? Get up there and scream how racist voter ID was for voting. That's how stupid these Democrats have gotten, and demonic. To me, it's both demonic and stupid. And you know, the way I look at it is pick a struggle. If you're going to be dumb, don't be demonic. If you're going to be demonic, don't be dumb. At least be smart at it, you know? Because we out here in the public, we out here in the South, we see through this stuff. And it smells like something bad on a South Georgia day left by a dog. Because that's all it is to me. And it's nothing but that. And I got a few words, but it's late night and I don't want to lose my audience. That's pretty good soapbox, is it not? Is that a good soapbox?
That's a good one, Chris. I'm with you on that. I just think it's just utter foolishness to even suggest that there's a form of logic for people not to present an ID when they vote. To me, that just doesn't compute in my brain how that makes sense.
James, that's one reason I'm glad I'm in Tennessee. Every time I voted, I get my license out, because if I don't get my license out, I am not going to vote. And I'm so proud. And if you look at the blue states, and I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb about this, if you look at the voting tallies of these blue states that don't require voter ID, it's amazing. It's amazing how they always go Democrat. You look at the red states that require voter ID, most of those red states, with the exception of very few, go Republican. Go Republican. Now, you can draw whatever conclusion you want of that, but as I said, we Southerners, we just are common sense people. We call that cheating, and we call that election unintegrity. There is no integrity in that. And you doggone right I want a voter ID. You know what I wish we could have, and I got one more thing I want to run by you before I let you go after I say this. I would like to see one election in this country, just one, a national election, without any kind of interference, without any kind of cheating, and let's just see what the American people really think about the conservative versus the liberal. I believe that you would have a 50-0 win. Maybe Minnesota, the crazy Minnesotans who want to be Canadians, maybe they would go blue. Maybe New York might go blue. But, brother, I'm going to tell you something. I believe the whole country would be leaning red. That's just my opinion. What's your thoughts on that real quick? And then I'm going to ask you about Iran. I'll let you go.
Okay. Well, let me say I wish that I thought you were right. I think that anymore, there are two ways of viewing things. Number one is that individuals are entitled to the government doing everything for them. And the other is sort of personal individual responsibility for your success or failure in life. And so we have in this country, it pains me to say it, but we have a whole entitlement section of the country that lines up with this sort of left agenda, sort of this whole idea of there has to be an oppressed class, and all of that stuff feeds together, so that I'm not sure what the numbers would be in terms of conservative versus liberal anymore.
Well,
because those attitudes have leached into people's thinking over the last 2 decades.
No, I'm with you. And look, I say it would be 50-0. I'd probably be shocked, because I never thought Zomar Mendami would ever get elected. A communist socialist would get elected to the biggest city in the world. And I was blown away at the margin that he won that city. But by the way, you New Yorkers, I hope you're proud of yourself. You've got trash up to your freaking doorsteps today, and they've not taken the trash out since he's been in office. So I hope the hellhole that you voted for, you're enjoying. And it's amazing how they're screaming. People in Virginia are screaming. today about some of the things Spellberger's doing. Basically, let out a rapist of an 8-year-old kid, and it's just amazing how these blue states vote. And then all of a sudden, when things go bad, they start running for the hills. Well, you voted for them. You get what you deserve, the way I look at it. I mean, I hate to say it, you don't. I tell you what, you sit at home and you don't vote, or you go vote left. That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. All righty. One quick question. I'm on a Monday night soapbox. I'm just in a good mood, Akers. I'm glad you stayed up with me here. I was afraid you'd already gone to bed. But see, this way I can run cover and say, well, James was on here talking to me too. I was not just me. James was agreeing with me. Iran, Israel. Netanyahu is supposed to be over here tomorrow or Wednesday for an emergency meeting with Trump. Do you think that we are getting ready to see strikes? I know you've said no in the weeks past, but has there been anything that's changed since we've talked that would indicate we're getting ready to do something in the Middle East? I'm sort of mixed right now. I think that cooler heads may prevail, but I also believe that the Iranians don't care. I think that they're going to keep doing what they're doing to provoke an attack. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I would like to think that I'm not against the idea of going in with strikes against Iran. That regime is a demonic regime, and it needs to be toppled. My point before was that we missed the window of opportunity for the moral high ground to do that. I do not see a clear-cut policy objective with going in and hitting a couple Quds Force installations and everything that would have to be taken out in order for American aircraft to go in there. I just don't. Yeah. I don't see it. That doesn't mean it won't happen, but I do not think we have a clear policy objective once that window passed. We had one, 2 or 3 weeks ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago. There was a clear policy objective. And we should have went in with force if we were going to do it at that time. That's my point.
Unrelated question, but yet a related question as it goes to Israel. Real quick, the Gaza situation. Do you believe that there is any prayer where an ice cube won't survive, that this board of peace is going to bring peace at all to the Middle East?
No, I do not. I just don't. I think you give Trump kudos for trying.
I'm with you there.
But because I think he needed to try. I'm not sure that in terms of his sort of the people that are now leading the diplomatic effort. In my mind, I'm not sure they're the right people to do it. But in terms of the separate peace initiative, which I think if you just boil it down to its most basic level, is Trump just thumbing his nose at the UN.
Yeah.
But I wish I was wrong on this one, Chris. I really do. But I don't think it's going to succeed.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. And we just pray that we'll see what happens in Iran. I think it's the next few weeks into March is going to be very interesting. We got Ramadan starting here just in a few weeks too, and that's going to add a sort of element to this that you just never know, with the Muslim community in the world. All right, man. Anything else on your mind tonight before I let you go? Thank you for staying up with me. I'll send you. You can send me a bill for the late night thing. We make a better pair than Kimmel, Fallon, and O'Brien. All of them combined cannot compete with the Mac Akers report and the Mac Akers comedy team on Monday nights. I'm just telling you, man, these late night shows, people love them. Somebody's out there saying that we're young guys and that they love talking to us. So if they're saying you're young, my Lord, man, my Lord.
Well, uh, 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 I give kudos also to anyone who's staying up this late to listen. You may have a lot of West Coast listeners.
Oh, we got a big X crowd tonight. We got the biggest X crowd we've had forever in a long time. So we got almost 300 people watching us tonight live. So I'm tipping my hat to the 300 late nighters. We're late night folks here. I like these late night shows. I put it like this: the late night shows, the kids don't come out. I'll just leave it. I'll leave that one alone right now. We have the adults in the house on the late night shows.
Yeah, and they have enough common sense not to listen to those just uh, uh, morally bankrupt and politically misguided uh, uh, hosts for late night TV. Have you ever just seen such a rabble that you just wanted to turn the channel off on?
I think that Johnny Carson, and I know Johnny Carson could be political. He could be rough. He was rough on Reagan. But if you go back to that era, Jack Benny, him, even I would say Jay Leno, who replaced Carson. Jay was smart enough to know that you don't trash one side of the country each night and think you're going to survive. This rabble that you're talking about, they don't care. They don't care about offending half the country. But what they've realized, what Colbert's about to realize, he's going to be out of a job, just like Don Lemon was out of a job. And all these, if you think about it, James, the last year, look at the number of news personalities that were doing just that. And now they're having to depend on their own podcast, and they can say what they want to say, but nobody's listening to them. And Don Lemon's going to be in jail. Don Lemon, by the way, I don't know if people hear, but we're going to talk about him a little bit tonight. He got a standing ovation at an elite event with the Hollywood types, but the person that he thought was his friend basically has come out and said that he planned that event in Minnesota ahead of time, days in advance. That busts his whole narrative that he was just spontaneous to cover it as a journalist. So he's got some legal problems tonight. But the whole left wing comedian media, that whole world tonight's got some problems. And they're going to keep saying stuff and getting themselves sued and go bankrupt. And eventually, they'll get the message eventually when they get hit in the pocketbook. And look, I know people don't like Trump suing people, but you know something? Maybe that's what it's going to take to teach these people a lesson that you can't defame somebody's character. Because that's a lot of that going on online. And I think it needs to be addressed. And if you got to sue them, sue them. That's just my opinion.
That's a good one.
See, I get an A+ for my final soapbox of the night. Listen, you go to bed, get some rest. I may call you later this week, but definitely next week, man, we'll have you on again, okay?
Sounds good. Blessings to you and all who listen. And again, this country, warts and all, is the best country in the world to live in. And I had Chris, you particularly enjoy this. I had just a wonderful testimony tonight of God intervening for some of our neighbors in a really tough situation. And, I just praise God for the country we live in, the freedoms that we have, and for what He did for me on the cross. And we tend to get wrapped around the wheel of a lot of these political issues, and the blood comes up, but I'm telling you that God is on His throne and He has this whole thing in control.
Absolutely, buddy. And we got a large audience, and I'm glad they're hearing that tonight, because we and you both are faith people, and we have to talk about it because this is what we do. But let there be no mistake about it. I'm 1,000,000% in the corner of what you just said. I'm very aware that we as Christians, we have a hope and we have a Savior that is in very deep control of this world. And he's coming back very soon. And all these things are going to be made right, James. I'll just leave it at that. It may not seem like they're right now, but there's one coming. He's going to set things right, and he's going to do it equally and fairly and in true justice. And that's really the only time that that's going to happen is when he returns to this earth. And that's why I serve.
Chris, that's the best soapbox of all right there.
Is that
God
the best
bless you,
one?
my friend. You have a good night.
You too. We'll see you this spring, man. God bless. See you, man.
You bet.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
James Akers, everybody. Put some fire in that house. Oh, we're going to get up when it warms up and have a baseball game with that man. He's my buddy. And James is, by the way, those of you who don't know who he is, he's a former CIA analysis. Brad was more in the field. Brad Johnson was in the field. James was analyzing the information and making recommendations. He's been a dear friend, faith friend to the network for almost 3 years now, 2 years. We're grateful for him and so forth. It is midnight. In the East, you're watching a very special McFiles late night special. And we've got a couple of things we want to run by you. I'm going to come over here to our Breitbart Newswire tonight and just sort of go over some of the things that is happening right now. And this is a developing situation tonight. The Hamas leader has rejected Trump's disarmament demand, vows no foreign rule in Gaza. Well, good luck with that, brother. This is Khalid Michel. He's about to get himself eliminated. Israel, I hate to tell him, Hamas is their days are numbered, and they can either get with this program or not. But here is, I think this is in English. But let's see what this does.
إذا أعد السؤال الكبير عن أصل الصراع وأنه قضية احتلال وشعب يقاوم الاحتلال ومن حقه تقرير المصير والاستقلال، عند ذلك سؤال المقاومة يصبح طبيعيا، وسؤال سلاح المقاومة يصبح طبيعيا. إنه هذا فلسفة المقاومة. نحن طالما هناك احتلال هناك مقاومة.
Now he's saying basically that the resistance is legitimate as long as Israel's occupying the Gaza. Well, this is how they lie. This is how they manipulate. And by the way, I want to say something about this. For the millionth time tonight, let me just set the record straight. That needs to be set straight with some. There has been no genocide in Gaza. Israel has been blamed for everything under the sun in Gaza. It is this group, the Hamas group, that has hid. You had the Australian Turning Point, and I love Turning Point. I believe it's a great organization, but their Australia branch, and Cleo was talking to me about this morning a little bit. Them basically, they made a statement almost like to the fact that Israel, with friends like Israel, how can America need any enemies? And they're always trying to twist history and what anything bad that's happened in the Gaza, Israel gets blamed for it. They never blame Hamas. They never blame Hamas. This guy's digging in. I do not doubt that we're going to be facing another conflict there soon because Israel's not going to put up with this, folks, and neither should they. Look, if America had a region of her country tonight with a terrorist cell in it, like Minnesota, which is basically what we got in Minnesota tonight, but you start having attacks and you start doing the things. If any group in this country would have done the things to our nation as Hamas did on October the 7th, there would be no looking back. There would be complete destruction of that group, as should be. And there should be complete destruction of this group as well. As well. Now, you can believe the lies of Hamas. You can listen to Matt Gaetz and Tucker Katari Carlson, and I can't even think of her name. That's how much she means. Candace. You can listen to her, babble her trap, and say all these anti-Semitic things. The Hodge twins, all of them. You can believe that, or you can accept the fact that Israel has a deadly enemy that's about to dig in. They're still lying. They've never wanted to disarm. They're never going to disarm. Hospitals are still going to get blown up, and they're going to blame Israel for everything. But anyway, this is the absolute unreal Georgia Senator John Ossoff. I got another name for him, but I can't say it. But he's saying that we will lose our republic if we don't rebuke Trump in the midterms. I got news from Mr. Ossoff. His seat is about to be ossed off because he's gone. But he required people to attend his event last night with an ID. But this is what he had to say about Trump in the midterms.
John Ossoff. He's on the Intelligence Committee in the Senate. He's also running for re-election this year in the great state of Georgia. Senator, it's nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Rachel, thank you.
How does Georgia feel about that raid on the Fulton County Election Office?
Georgia ain't too happy about that raid. Rachel, I'll go ahead and do your interview for you. I'll tell you how Georgia feels about it. They cheated. They're not going to like it. It's not a raid, by the way. I hope every last one of them go to prison. I do. I don't want to listen to this babble. But anyway, I just find it so funny that Ossoff required ID last night at his event and then spent all the time talking to the crowd like he's going to talk to Rachel that Trump's a threat to democracy. He's a threat by requiring voter ID. Yeah, okay, whatever. Some of this crazy stuff, I swear, is just enough to make you wonder. By the way, there is a poll out there which I don't agree with, that Trump's handled the economy bad. I think President Trump has done a great job with the economy. He's had to deal with 4 years of what he was dealt with, and it's not going to turn around overnight, but there is some signs it's turning around. Gas prices are definitely down. But anyway, a couple of quick things, and then we're going to let you go tonight. This is the Guthrie video I was talking about. This is what's got people thinking about what in the world is going on. I'll let you watch this. This is Savannah Guthrie. And again, folks, I pray for her family. I pray they find her mother. We have no ill will towards Savannah Guthrie. This is not about this, but this is when stuff like this happens, it just makes us shake our head. And maybe this was just a coincidence. She said it. Maybe not. I don't know. But I'll just let you listen to it. Make your own call. I'm going to take your comments before we get out of here tonight. So bear with us.
She's full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
That's the lady on the right. That's an actress in a movie, The Silence of the Lambs, and most of you may or may not know that movie. That was with Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. Jodie Foster was an FBI agent. Scott Glenn was the FBI guy too. And the character they were looking for, Hannibal, was trying to help him. He was a cannibal, by the way. But they were pleading for the life of the individual that she had kidnapped, or he had kidnapped. Not Hannibal, but the guy that they was trying to find. So weird stuff. Just weird stuff. And I'll get your opinion about that here in a minute. This is a tweet, and I'm not going to say I agree with this fully, but I will just show you what's out there. I'm just giving you what's out there. This is from Megan Nancy. She says, Savannah Guthrie, whose missing mother is being held for ransom, interviewed Jeffrey Epstein victims. And she did. Savannah's husband, Michael Feldman, was the PR guy for the Clintons, cleaning up bad press for them, because all these media, Hollywood types, Washington types, they all hubnub together. And the Clintons are about to be forced to testify in the Epstein hearings. So perhaps to get the attention off of that, and I'm not saying that's the case, that's just a thought. Don't be sending me your bad emails. I promise I'm not saying she's making it up. I believe the mom was actually kidnapped. I do. By the way, Dennis, you said something about John Fetterman tonight, about him changing his vote on voter ID. Here's the story of that. The Democrats are not happy with him tonight, but he has joined the Republicans and comes out in favor of requiring an ID to vote in every election across the country. There is one reasonable Democrat out there. He says, I do not believe that it is unreasonable to show an ID to vote, and it's not. And it's not. By the way, this is a list. I'll make this quick tonight. See all those countries right there? Iceland, Sweden, New Zealand, Denmark, Canada, Ireland, Switzerland, Finland, Australia, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Malta, UK, Spain, Mauritius, Uruguay, Japan, Italy, France, South Korea, Costa Rica, Botswana, Portugal, Estonia, Israel, Czech Republic, India, Taiwan, Chile, Belgium, Cyprus, Slovenia, Lithuania, South Africa, Jamaica, Latvia, Slovakia, Greece, Panama, Bulgaria, Indonesia, Argentina, Poland, Brazil, Ghana, Croatia, Hungary, Colombia, Peru, El Salvador, Romania, Serbia, Hong Kong, Singapore, Georgia, not the state, the Russian state, Honduras, Ecuador, Bangladesh, Ukraine, Bolivia, Turkey of all places, Kenya, Thailand, Lebanon, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Palestine, even in Palestine, Pakistan, Iraq, and Haiti. Demonic Haiti. Guess what? They require you to bring a voter ID to the polls to vote. That's a long list of countries right there, folks. That's almost the entire world. But not here in America. In the world of the Democrat Party, they don't think that's a good idea. So, anyway, that's that. This is Kid Rock last night. Ben, this is a great song. I'm going to play this. Here's another one before I do that, before I get to Kid Rock. If you go into a country illegally, if you go into Singapore and they catch you, 6 months in prison. You go into Russia and they catch you, 2 years in a labor camp. You go into India, you get 8 years in prison if you enter their country illegally. Pakistan, you get 10 years. A lot of these countries, you don't see the light of day. You get your head cut off. North Korea is one of them. You get the death penalty. But Michelle's tweet is right on. When you come to the USA and do it, thanks to the Dems and thanks to Joe Biden and the crew, you get housing, free health care, education, food, transportation, phones, and cash. Something's wrong with that picture. Something is wrong with that picture. Kid Rock rocked last night, and the Not-For-Long Football League should take a lesson. This is who should have been performing at the Super Bowl. Not Bad Bunny.
That's sitting in your house somewhere that could use some dusting off. There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross. You can give your life to Jesus, and He'll give you a second chance till you can't, till you can't.
Play that again. Good
There's
stuff, Kid Rock.
That's sitting in your
Play
house
it good.
somewhere that could use some dusting off. There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross. You can give your life to Jesus, and He'll give you a second chance till you can't, till you can't.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff tonight. And that's who should have been performing at the Super Bowl. Great stuff. I'm going to try to download that whole song and play it for you. This is Michelle Obama. By the way, I know that some of you saw the blow-up Friday night about the King of the Jungle video with Trump. And I know that there are some, even James may not have liked that. There's a lot of people, even on the right, that thought it was over the top. Tim Scott was out there screaming about it. Calling it racist. I'm just a South Georgia boy. But what you're about to hear out of the mouth of Michelle Obama about white folks is far more racist than anything that I saw in that video. And we need a little sense of humor in this country. But it's amazing how she can say this, and there was no uproar from the left about this.
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like, and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. You know, I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes, you know. what does our closet look like and who's in it?
Mm-hmm.
Who are we supporting in it?
Right.
You know, and I think if you have the money to buy Chanel, then you have the money to buy everybody.
Right.
And so let us be mindful, I think would be my advice.
Now, what you're hearing, and that part of the interview was sort of about the buying the clothes. What she goes out to say in the same video is that basically if you're buying goods, you buy them from and I'm not opposed to you buying, you got a right to buy who you want to buy from. But she's basically saying don't buy from white folks. And when she made the comment about if you got the amount to buy Chanel No. 5, you know, then you could buy it for everybody. So it's income equity stuff. But she basically came out and said in a roundabout way, if you buy from white folks, you're betraying the black community. Just a South Georgia boy. Sounds racist to me. But they're screaming about a video about the king of the jungle. This is Christy Nome. And in context of what Christy is about to say, and then I'm going to take your questions, this is what happened today. Actually, this may be a video right here. Roll the tape.
These immigrants out of the prisons. It is safer for everyone.
We're sorry, guys. We lost connection with you. This is what we were about to play for you right here. And this is Kayleigh McEnerney with one of the Trump officials in the Department of Homeland Security talking about Virginia's new Democrat governor releasing an illegal alien who strangled his 8-month-old baby sister to death with a charging cord is now refusing to turn him over to ICE.
These immigrants out of the prisons. It is safer for these immigrants out of the prisons. It is safer for everyone, not on the street operations. So it seems like Spanberger, she didn't get the memo?
I guess she didn't get the memo because we had a great partnership with Glenn Youngkin and his team on the ground there to make sure that when these criminal illegal aliens who are in the jails, in their custody, once they serve their time, that we are notified and they can be turned over to ICE to be released back into their own country. But Kayleigh, I want to give you one example, and your viewers one example of a direct response to this. There is an illegal alien that we arrested from El Salvador in September of last year. He was arrested for strangling with an electric cord his 8-month-old sister.
Oh my goodness.
She was killed because of the policies, because of these new sanctuary city policies out of Virginia. Once this individual serves his time, he will go back onto Virginia's streets because we're not allowed to be notified. That is absolutely heinous, and Virginians are going to be a lot less safe because of this policy.
Trisha, that is insane what you just told me. And I saw on your Twitter feed that in New York, this is just likewise insane. 6,947 illegal aliens with criminal records were just let out on the streets of New York right behind me.
Yes.
That's exactly right. And we saw the same out of Minneapolis, which, of course, we're trying to solve for. I'm so glad that Tom Homan is on the ground there trying to make really what is common sense deals, because all we're asking for is for state and local cooperation. I mean, just a couple more of these individuals that we've picked up off of the street in the last few days, Kayleigh, out of Minneapolis. An individual from Laos convicted for rape and sexual assault. An individual from Vietnam convicted for sexual assault, homicide, negligent manslaughter. Another from Laos convicted for homicide. These are the people who've been walking around Minneapolis with impunity for the last few years, and who ICE, because we're not allowed into those jails, we have to flood the zone and get these individuals out of the country. That's what we're doing in Minneapolis. That's what we're going to be doing in New York with those sanctuary city policies.
Trisha McLaughlin, you guys are doing great work. Thank you. And that is just horrible. Someone who strangled their sister. They've been out on the streets. Wow.
No, that's bad, but what's worse?
Went from having a negative net worth when she was first elected to becoming a millionaire.
What's worse is the governor and her actions basically letting this guy go free by not turning him over to ICE, where he needs to. Here's Christy Nome. Speaking of the Minneapolis situation.
Well, we have a national targeting center that identifies those who've committed crimes. So they've done something in this country or in their home country that has been criminal charges against them, or they've been convicted. Many times these individuals are in jails or prisons in some of our states already that we just want those local law enforcement officers to turn over to us. For example, one of the things we've asked Governor Walz for and Mayor Fry is to give us just the criminals you have in jail. They've released 490 murderers and rapists and drug traffickers onto their streets rather than just give them to us. And that's what I don't understand.
Well, you know, some of them, though, have multiple names.
Yes.
That's, I mean, which is, it was a big problem. If you come in illegally, you don't necessarily have a social security card, you don't have a passport, there's no database back in your home country because it's a country we're not friendly with.
Yeah, or they've lied on their paperwork to come in, and then they've overstayed and not shown up for their immigration court hearings. They've been notified, and then they've run into DUIs, other incidences. So what we're doing is targeting those who have committed criminal acts. But if we show up and we're going after a TDA member in an apartment, and they're in an apartment with 12 other people, we're going to ask those other people who they are, what their identity is, just like we would any other law enforcement operation. I think that's what people don't know, is that we're doing the same thing that law enforcement has done for years under this administration, the Biden administration, all of them. We haven't changed what we do in these types of situations. We ask everyone there who they are and why they're affiliated and surrounded by these criminals.
And that is the problem, because the media has convinced the country that they are. They're losing the PR war. It's not their fault. It's not ISIS's fault. It's not even Kristi Noem's fault. I've been a little hard on Kristi. Look, I've thought about this weekend. It's not her fault. Holman and her are doing the best job they can, and she's right. She's right. We're not doing anything differently, folks. We've not done in past administrations. But the media has convinced the country that ICE has become the great Satan. And it is very sad. This is what happens to you. We're going to deal with the Australian situation and the Jews tomorrow night with Eric, Karen. But this is Don Lemon. And he was in a group of elites last night. And this is what happened. Gets a standing ovation, and that, for some reason, don't play the video. Don't want to play. I'm having some issues. But anyway, if you'd seen the video, he was in a group of Hollywood elites, and they got up and gave him a standing 5. One more time, Kid Rock. I've got your questions. If you got questions, real quick, we got 10 minutes.
There's a
play that song again, brother.
Sitting in your house somewhere that could use some dusting off. There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross. You can give your life to Jesus, and He'll give you a second chance till you can't, till you can't.
Dust that Bible off and give your life to Jesus. And that's what you need to do tonight. That is what you need to do. All right. Any questions you got? Any comments? Rock and roll. You got 10 minutes. Let's go. Tracy Clark said the funny thing that I've heard complaining all day is about Bad Bunny's halftime show, but I haven't heard anything about who won the Super Bowl. And I don't think most people care, Tracy. Honestly, the Not-for-Long Football League is... I don't think people care. I really don't care. And I hate that because I used to love sports. But I think there's a lot of people that have just, like me, don't care no more because of what it's become. And I'm understanding that. Debbie, let's see, Courtright, you're talking about common sense. This is what we need in the world today. That's an understatement. Dennis Fetterman will vote in favor of voter ID, and it's very true. I know that you say you go to your grandson's Little League games, and Dennis, that's about the only level of sports right now that is remaining pure. But I'm going to take something. These Little Leagues and these Pony Leagues and these baseball high school games, and I'm seeing it in high school, and again, these kids there's just so much pressure on them to perform, so much pressure on the coaches to perform, and we're dealing with high school kids, And, if a coach in high school don't have a good football season or two or a baseball season, they fire him. Not because he's a bad teacher, but because the boosters want money, and those sports programs brings the money into the high school. It's pathetic to me. It's pathetic. It's not what sports was ever intended to be. But enjoy your grandson's Little League games. I know that you do. Mark, you say that the country's upset about what Trump said about Obama and the monkey situation. You didn't say anything, Mark. He posted a video of the lion of the King of the Jungle. There's a video, the lion, King of the Jungle, and so forth. And he just didn't signal out Obama and Michelle. There was Pritzker in that. Nancy Pelosi was in that video. There was others. It wasn't a personal attack on Obama. I tend to disagree with that. Country can be upset if they want to be, Mark. They're not upset. The country's not upset, that should be, about the comments of Michelle Obama, telling people to go buy from black folks and not white folks. It's not a racial thing to me. It's not a racial thing. I don't want to make it one. But what it is the hypocrisy of the left, that their side can say all sorts of racist things. And it's not just, I'm not saying blacks are the only ones that say racist things. There's a lot of white liberals that say a lot of racist things. Joe Biden used the N-word every other time he would get in front of a microphone. Nobody cared. The rappers say N-words like it flows out of them like water. Nobody cares. And you look at some of these personalities on television, and, when you trash talk and make it everything about race, people just get sick of it. And I'm not saying you're doing it, buddy. It's good to see you tonight. But the hypocrisy is what I'm trying to call out, not the racial tones. And I'm not saying Trump was wise or not wise in doing that. He probably would have been better off not to put the video out there, because it inflamed everything. It just blew up the country this weekend, which it shouldn't have. We got far more things to worry about than a video with lions in the jungle. Far more things to worry about than that. But that's America right now. Anyway. And Kelly, you're right. I mean, the whole video was a screen. I mean, it was Schiff. Adam Schiff was in there. There were white people in it. It wasn't just the Obamas. And if the Obamas would have been the only people in that video, then I would tend to say that was somewhat of a personal jab at them, but it was not. And I'm with you. There was a lot of folks, including Adam Schiff, that was in that video. A lot of liberals were in it. I can tell you what, it was a liberal thing. But all I can tell the liberals is get alive and chill. You do it worse to us than we've ever done to them. Red the Lioness says, with all the online betting, I don't trust games anymore. Look what happened with Clay from the Guardians. He broke my heart at Cleveland, yeah. And the betting and I would no more put money on this on a game. I would not I don't bet anyway and gamble like that, but I will tell you this, I would never ever put any kind of money on a sporting event because of that very thing, because you do not know the forces that control those games. It's a fool's errand. Only fools do that. With you on that totally. Any other questions tonight? Real quick. Have you enjoyed the show? Cleo, good to see you, dear. She says monkeys are intelligent. So why offended? Why offended? But then I don't think about race 24/7. I'm going to heart that, and I'm going to copy and paste that, and I'm going to put that in YouTube. That's very well said. That's very well said. That's very well said. Absolutely. Carol says if everything is being used to make a political statement, sports, entertainment. Carol, that's been going on for a while, but the sporting world doing it. I hadn't even talked about the hockey team. I hadn't talked about not the hockey team, but the Olympics, and I will tomorrow night. But this, and I don't have the kid's name on in front of me. Because I wanted to talk about some other things tonight. But the skier that went out and claimed that he was not proud to wear the American jersey. I wish I had the clip. Every time I play it, we get a copyright strike, so I got to be careful. But one of my favorite movies, and I just watched the documentary. I encourage you to watch a documentary called The Miracle on Ice, 1980. It's a documentary, not the movie with Kurt Russell. That came out in 2004. But this is an actual reunion of all the members of the 1980 hockey team. There are two of them that passed. Herb Brooks, the coach, got killed in a car accident in 2003. And he was a tough cookie. But in the movie with Kurt Russell, there's a scene where his team is playing lackluster, and he just is letting them know how he feels about it. And he tells them something. I made this statement one night on a former show and got pretty much excommunicated. Never was asked back on it. But anyway, he told that team, he said, the name on the front of your jersey, which says USA, not the United States, but it says USA. By the way, my kid's going to the Air Force, so that's why I got my Air Force shirt on tonight. But that name, he said, is far more important than the name on the back. Let me tell the punk, they don't want to play for America because he thinks things are so bad here. Take the jersey off. Bring your sorry blank back to the States. We don't want you representing us no more than you want to represent us. It's a good thing I'm not in control of the Olympics. Because you would, if I'd have been in control of that team, and you would not be skating for me. I'd have told you, why don't you just hand me your jersey? Why don't you go wear North Korea's jersey? Or China's, or Mexico's. Maybe you're more proud to wear Canada's jersey, or Mexico, or one of these other countries. Have at it. You represent this country, you represent us. And even the hockey players, Michael Ruzioni, and a lot of the members of that 1980 hockey team did not like what he said, because they heard that speech from Herb Brooks back in 1980. He said, if you're going to play for me, you're going to play like that name on that jersey means something to you, and you are going to play like you play for the United States of America. So I'm with you, Carol. I just wish these athletes would shut up and play and do what they've been called to do, and that's play sports. I'd respect them a lot more. Doesn't mean they don't need to have an opinion. I get it. But the sports arena is not where we go to for political opinion. We go to be entertained and watch a game. Watch two baseball teams play, two football teams play, two basketball teams play. We don't go for a lecture. Because most of the time, these lectures are never about liberals. It's always about conservatives and about the law and the country. When a Republican's in office, they do it all the time. And then, which is the hypocrisy of it, when a liberal's in office, when Joe Biden was in office, and you had a kicker in Kansas City that when he expressed a conservative opinion about the country and complaining about Joe Biden's policy, there were people in the NFL that was trying to get him kicked off the team at Kansas City. And, you know, you can argue this both ways. My personal opinion is kick the football, kick and play and pass and score touchdowns and shut up. Shoot the basketball. Shut up. The coaches that get on their post-game conference. Doc Rivers, who claims that ICE murdered those two people. And Doc Rivers is from a hometown of Atlanta, played for the Hawks. Met him about 30 years ago. He was at an event in Thomasville, Georgia. And nothing but a liberal loser. Nothing but a liberal loser. And not a good coach at that. I just wish these athletes and coaches would play their ball games and keep their opinions to themselves, at least in the sports arena. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. For whatever it's worth. Whatever it's worth. Miss Murray, you say Fox interviewed someone from TPUSA who said Kid Rock told him that God woke him up and gave him that additional verse to the song, Till You Can't. Ain't that precious? I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. Last name is Hess. Rosemary, you're right. His last name was Hess. Trump didn't like it either. Trump called him a loser, and he is a loser. He backtracked on that today. He was all of a sudden realizing he had gotten his backside in a ringer. As I used to tell my kids, your backside is in a ringer. And he backtracked on that a lot today. He said, I'm just so happy to play for America. You got to love it. Ben, I'm with you, brother. This is one messed up world. Ben says this is one messed up world, isn't it? Cleo, thank you. The monkeys are intelligent enough. That's why we shouldn't be offended. They're more intelligent than the way the country acts about this kind of stuff. I'll agree with you. Lord have mercy. We're going to talk about Cleo's country tomorrow night. I'm very disappointed in the the Australian TPUSA. Israel's president was down there lecturing last night, speaking, and Palestinian mobsters basically ransacked the hall and trapped a lot of Jewish listeners to his dog. And the Australian government ain't going to do nothing. Those people should have been arrested. All of them. Every single last one of them. But they wasn't. At least to my knowledge. We're going to follow that story more tomorrow night. Eric Kieran's going to be with us. And we hope that you'll join us for that. All right. I'm done. I am done. Mary, you said, is it true that the Israeli bobsledding team, the first ever, had a lot of their equipment stolen? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Mary, I'm glad you brought that up. And I sent Jason Miller, sent somebody an article about that today. That is right. I forgot. I'm glad you mentioned that. We'll talk about that tomorrow night too. But the bobsledding team from Israel had all their equipment stolen. You think the media's got any outcry about that tonight? No. Nothing. Nothing's been said about it. Breitbart reported it. I think the 8-Way Pundit reported it too. But yeah, that is absolutely correct. It's hideous. It's hideous. And some folks need to be ashamed. But again, not good. Kelly, Kilzella. Oh, I hadn't seen you in a while. She says, I can barely listen to the media. Politicians talk crap. Why would bother to care what an athlete or person thinks? She says, Kilzella, I'll agree with that, but people do care. I mean, your statement is correct. I'm not going to disagree with it. We shouldn't. I don't, but there are many people that do. And these people have a lot of influence, and that's why they talk, because they know they have influence. And I'm not disagreeing with you. We shouldn't. And I think I've got this video. Let me find this one thing from, goodness. Here it is right here. Great way to end the program. Roll tape.
Guy, no words in your mouth, but this is laughable.
So here's the thing. In America, these people have the right to say these things and believe these things, and we have a right to make fun of them. I think the message that I would deliver to these people is simply paraphrasing what Ricky Gervais said when he hosted the Golden Globes back in 2020. He told celebrities sitting in that crowd, the glitz and the glamour, he said, you're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. You spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. And there was an uncomfortable laugh that rippled through the room because they kind of knew it was true. And he said, if you win an award, come up here, thank your agent, thank your God. And then he said something that I can't repeat. I fully endorse that message and that sentiment. And I wish more people in that glitterati cast, I know they're just trying to impress each other, frankly, but I wish more of them listened to him.
Yeah. I wish more people listened to them too. There he is. That's the video. That was Guy, can't think of his name. But anyway, that was on Fox today. We're having some little blips tonight with the screen here for some reason. We'll get those worked out this week. Listen, hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. It's late. It's 12:40. It's time to get out of here. It is 12:45. Had kept you a while. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless this great nation of America. Eric Herod tomorrow night or later tonight. And just one show late tomorrow night. And then we got Leslie Milby Thursday night. And maybe Magdalene and some other folks this week. Mark White Wednesday night. Star Parker, early bird special. Early bird special Thursday with Star Parker. You'll love Star. And God bless you out there. Just remember what James Akers says. The Lord's in control of all this, folks. I know we've got a messed up country, but I will tell you this. We should not be nothing but happy and joyful and understand that there's a better hope ahead for all of us that believe in Christ tonight. And He is our anchor in these times, in these troubled times, and He is our hope. We should not fear nor be afraid and face this with nothing but certainty that truth will prevail and evil will be confronted and evil will be put down at some point. It will be. May not see it in our lifetime, but evil is going to be addressed by the King of the earth and the God of heaven at some point in the future. And all this inequity and this injustice that we see is going to be dealt with when the Lord Jesus Christ comes back. That's my final word for tonight. I hope you had a good night tonight. May the Lord bless you. I'm going to go ahead and just play this opening on out. So it's because it's late, but we're grateful you've been with us tonight. Put some fire in that house if you've enjoyed the show. And I'll see you back here tomorrow morning on our face side, and then tomorrow night back here with Eric here. And God bless you all. Good night.